What's going on, guys? Witty Winnings here. Today we're going to be making fun of the part 2 of that VR 365 days. I did some air quotes there. You guys didn't see that, but yeah, let's get into it.
That there was still so much to explore in VR than just one game. And so I said goodbye to my Minecraft life and set forth for another one in Beat Saber to learn the art of music. I'd always wanted to learn an instrument in real life, and now I could finally do that without the interruptions of the real world. I started.
Don't believe this is a real instrument. Don't believe like, guys, you want to start a band? Yeah. What can you play, Jimmy? Guitar. What about you, Stu? Drums. What about you, Philip? I can play Beat Saber. Get the heck out.
The game, chose the first song, and began what would be the greatest learning curve of my entire life.
The greatest learning curve of my entire life. Totally wasn't going to college and learning stuff there. No, it was Beat Saber.
40 days later, Beat Saber had taken over my brain. All my focus on
40 days of playing a video game. So I'm getting my little calculator out. I'm going to do the math on that. 24 hours times 40 days. 960 hours. I'm guessing he's not playing 24 hours. Or maybe he's only playing like 5 minutes. Because realistically, but still. Dang.
all my emotion, all my value was
Also, where was the vomit in there? There was no vomit. He's lying.
based around these colored squares, and the only reward I felt as a human being was correctly swiping through them with my lightsabers. I had grown a lot.
The only reward in life was swiping through the colored blocks. It meant so much to me.
In those 40 days, finally being able to beat songs on medium difficulty, and at the time, I felt like I had finally reached my potential in the game. When you play
My true potential in the game.
every Green Day song over 200 times, you get the feeling that you've learned all the game is going to teach you.
Each song over 200 times. Yeah, you might have reached a limit there, buddy. I don't think most people play each level of Beat Saber, or Green, whatever that he said, 200 times.
So I moved on to another game. At this point, I was very proud of what I had accomplished in both games I've played, and I had come to terms with the idea of being alone and being away from my past life and the people who occupied it. But as any human would, there were still days where I felt extra lonely or just wished for a minute of interaction with another living being. So I decided next to venture into the world of Moss, a game that I...
Also, I was checking this guy's YouTube channel out. He makes a lot of videos. Didn't think, like recent ones, don't think he was making those in VR. I really don't think so.
I was told could melt the heart of even a hardened killer. And in the days to come, I would say that's the greatest understatement of our modern times. My life in Minecraft.
The greatest understatement of our modern times. I'm really trying to sound deep right now. But it's really not working.
Minecraft and Beat Saber had brought me through the many ups and downs of adventure, challenge, risk, and reward, but all throughout they lacked the companionship that I found in my life playing through Moss. As I guided the main character through the mystical, danger-filled world, I felt like Quill and I grew very close to one another. With every puzzle we solved and high five we exchanged, I felt the humanity returning to my emotionless self. Now Moss is a really
My emotionless self. I mean, you're truly, like, however many days you set into this, you probably are pretty emotionless.
short game. It took me maybe 3 hours to beat it on my first try, but by the 150th playthrough,
Just wait. We're gonna do some more math again. 3 times 150. 450 hours. Probably got better at it, so a little less. We'll go to 400 hours. He supposedly played that game.
I really started to feel a connection to this mouse character. It was a greater bond than probably anything I had formed in my past real life.
Oh my gosh, dude. Nothing with your wife or your children. No. A greater bond with this. Ones and zeros of this mouse. I had no emotion towards my kids or my family. It was all towards this mouse. Mouse.
Every time I would begin playing through the story again, Quill would meet me for the first time in that starting cutscene, forgetting all of what past memories we had made. But with each first encounter, I felt like deep down, she knew who I was. That somewhere, somehow, she had this
Deep down. It's totally not totally. I can't speak English today, or any day. Most of my videos I do this in, but totally didn't like reset the game and just do the cutscene over and over again.
Deep memory of what we had gone through in the last playthrough. After some time, as I guided her time and time again through the dangers and hardships that the game threw at us, I took my role as her protector more and more seriously, and eventually cared for her as I did my own real-life daughter. Perhaps even more so.
More than your daughter, dude. Think about what you're saying. Your daughter is going to see this in the future and she's going to be like, Dad, what the heck? My voice is messed up again.
After a while, the day came where I felt like I had helped Quill as much as a father should. I taught her how to brave the dangers of this world to the best of my knowledge. And one day, I just knew she would be fine without me. So I moved on.
Maybe after you beat the game once, you'll be fine or heal.
On other games, I lived other lives. I never forgot the ones that I had lived. But with Minecraft and Beat Saber, I had always felt like staying alive was my top priority. Living on to see what the next adventure would be, what lied in store for me after each game. It was the most important thing to me through those games, and I had so much to live for, but things change after raising a child into the world. There was still a lot to explore, don't get me wrong.
Raising a child. I really raised this mouse to be the person I always wanted to be.
But I know the purpose of my life was to raise Quill to the best of my abilities.
Bro, your whole life, not your kids again. This guy's got really his priorities mixed up. His whole goal in life was to raise this mouse.
And with that being done, I didn't worry about what might happen to me anymore. And so, my life simply went on, in an almost worryless way. With my life's purpose complete, I simply drifted about from game to game, taking in experiences as that of a retired soldier.
That's kind of what you're supposed to do during video games. You're supposed to just take in the experience, not worry too much about it. Especially Minecraft. Not meant to be a stressful game.
For the rest of my VR days.
Bro, those dance moves, man. I gotta get those. Like, no joke, though. I kind of could get some better dance moves.
Finally, the day had come. It had been 1 year since I began my journey into a life of VR, and I felt like I had lived 1,000 lives within the course of only a fraction of time. It was time to finally take off the headset. I honestly was scared and a bit sad because I felt like I could have spent my whole life in VR. But
it's kind of a scary thought.
I knew my time had come. For one thing, I had played through every game on the store probably around 100 times, seeing as they're so short. And I was spending around $400 a month on Google Drive storage to keep recording everything.
$400 a month to keep recording things. But then he only used a little bit of it to make this video. Only 13 minutes.
It was time to face the real world again. And so I said my last goodbyes to my small hut and prepared to shut down the quest. When, as if the end of my journey had been known to the whole world, I get a timely phone call. Right as I'm taking my headset off, my wife calls me and says, "Where have you been?" I wasn't able to speak words because I hadn't spoken in like a year, so I could only make mumbling sounds.
This is bullcrap, and why didn't his wife ever notice until now?
And she says, "Hey, where have you been for the past 5 days?" I hadn't spoken to anyone for a year, keep in mind. And I said, She said, "Yeah, you were supposed to pick up cereal like 5 days ago, and you just never came home." And I just sat there thinking to myself, I've been in VR for 365 days. I've been counting the time in my head since day one.
Maybe next time, don't count the time in your head. It's not always the most accurate.
I know it's been that long. And then it dawned on me, VR has to be the secret to time travel.
This guy is a genius, dude. He just played us all so hard. I feel ashamed of myself. So great. Thank you guys for watching. That has been spending 365 days in virtual reality. Even 5 days is super long. I think they'd kill you, basically. Well, never mind. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see y'all later. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been the 2-part series because this is pretty long. I'm going to make it 1 part, but this is a pretty long video. I had a lot of commentary. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.